It's Kentucky Dairy Week, baby, and we're just a few short days away from getting the Run for the Roses together. So we're better to get your insight from the one, the only, the viral video king. The J-Fed Sports Show, Kentucky Derby Special.
Special. I am your host, Jeff J. Fed Fetters. And before we get started on Derby stuff, as you can see with my shirt, I do want to say rest in peace to David Allan Coe, who passed away. He was a country music outlaw legend. With like that, let's go ahead and get things started. All right, now that's more like it. All right, and as we do every week, we're going to go ahead and start with the bullet points. Bullet point number 1. Post number 5. 10 winners at the Kentucky Derby. That is more than any other postgate out there. The postgates are very important. That's why we're talking about it with the bullet points. Second bullet point. Post number 1. That is your favorite. Your favorite has drawn post 1. Post 1 is almost impossible to win from. The last time it has been won, 1986, I was 4 years old. So, the favorite is going to have trouble, that'd be Renegade. Bullet point number 3. Post 17 has 0 wins ever in the history of the 152 Kentucky Derbies. Nobody has ever won from post 17. Eventually, that's going to have to change. I don't know if it's this year or not, but that is a crazy, crazy statistic. All right, and we have bullet point number 5. Post 6, post 11, 14, 18, 20. They all have 2 wins. Each post has 2 wins in the Kentucky Derby. They were some of the smaller posts that's ever won. So if you think about that. Our last one, post 14. The last Kentucky Derby win is the longest route besides the post that has not won before. Post 14, the last Kentucky Derby win was in 1961. That is fascinating. All right, that's all I got for bullet points. We're going to go from the wild old bullet points straight into the place that's going to touch your heart today. I did a story today on one of my favorite racehorses. His name is Barbaro. And so we're going to have the Fetters talk. We're going to talk about Barbaro. We'll be right back. To many in America, a horse race is just that, a horse race. But 20 years ago, a brown racehorse by the name of Barbaro captured everybody's hearts in all of North America.
It's almost like, in a way, sometimes I think this was meant to happen the way it did.
And they are off in the Kentucky Derby.
He was everything you wanted in a racehorse. He was the perfect horse.
And here comes Barbaro. The undefeated Barbaro comes up on the outside.
People appreciate what they recognize as being truly great.
I thought we were going to have our first Triple Crown winner since affirmed.
Kentucky Derby, Churchill Downs, 2006. Nobody realized that the horse Barbaro was going to capture America's hearts so much and take one of the most resounding wins in the Kentucky Derby.
We expect to see the surfeit of speed in the Kentucky Derby this year. And they are off in the Kentucky Derby.
As the horses started to work themselves into the far turn, Barbaro, sitting right around 4th or 5th in the perfect spot, looked over, was about to make something special happen, and said, "Adios, motherfuckers."
Minister, 3/4 in 10 and 4, and it's Sinister Minister, and here comes Barbaro. The undefeated Barbaro comes up on the outside, and he takes the lead as the field turns for home in the Kentucky Derby. Barbaro turns it on, and his stablemate showing up in second. Bluegrass Cat is third. Brother Derek putting in a late one on the far outside. Steppenwolfer is fifth. and Sweet Northern Saints 6 toward the rail, but they're coming to the finish, and it is all Barbaro in a sublime performance. He runs away from them all, and he has saved something left for the Preakness. Barbaro wins by 7. Bluegrass Cat
destroying horses by 6.5 lengths. It was the largest margin of victory by a horse in the Kentucky Derby in over 60 years. 2 weeks later, we arrive at Pimlico for the Preakness, and all anybody could talk about is the super horse Barbaro that really has a shot at winning the real Triple Crown.
In this Preakness field. In today's field of 9, only Brother Derek and Sweet Northern Saint are back for another run at it. We've already heard a lot of talk about Barbaro being a super horse, about the Triple Crown being a real possibility. Of course,
as the sunny rays beat down the track and we were getting ready for the start of the Preakness, something was already up with Barbaro, and something unprecedented happened that we have not seen in a long time.
In the gate, ready for the start, and Barbaro broke through the barrier. Barbaro broke through the barrier, and that does not bode well for the favorite here. It just jogged off just a few feet. The outriders are right there to pick him up. Now they're going to bring him back behind the starting gate. Gary Stevens has been in this position before, and Gary, this is not a plus.
No, it's not a plus, Tom, and I'll tell you what, it's a bad feeling in just a normal race, let alone a classic. You know, these gates are usually held together with very, very strong magnets. There's a huge amount of power that's going through these gates, and it takes a pretty good force to break open those gates. And as he lunges forward, he probably hears a noise, and that's his cue to go. You see him here. He gets it with his knees a little bit. It doesn't look like anything too serious. And you know what? They're very, very lucky that the assistant starter did let this horse go the way he did right there. They're getting him back in. No harm, no foul. It doesn't look like here.
Well, he's been on his toes all afternoon. Let's go back to...
What we thought was no harm, no foul turned out to be one of the saddest things in horse racing history.
Came away rather cleanly, and like now, and Garrett Gomez is intent on that lead. He sends him right from the beginning. And Sweet Northern Saint is going to run with him. Bernardini is away third. On the outside, Diabolical is fourth. Barbaro, I believe he's being pulled up. Barbaro is being pulled up. An astonishing development here. Barbaro is being pulled up by Edgar Prado. He is out of the race and out of the Triple Crown. He appears.
As the horses crossed the line, the winner was an afterthought, and all anyone can think of was Barbaro, and you can hear it in the announcer's somber voice.
Northern Saint, followed by Hemingway's Key and Brother Derek, as they all pass the stricken Barbaro, I should say. The final time was tepid, 1:54.3.
All right, Tom Durkin, that's Barbaro pulled up as they passed the stands for the first time. Michael Matz has made his way down from the grandstand, tending to the horse. When Edgar Prado sensed something was wrong, he pulled him up, and it appeared to be his right hind leg that was injured. You see him holding it up there, gingerly. And I guess things just weren't right with Barbaro all afternoon. They had to saddle him sort of on the fly, kept him walking. He was bouncing up and down in the warm-up, and as they made their way toward the...
Barbaro would break his right hind leg with a misstep in several spots, and after several successful surgeries, unfortunately, Barbaro developed laminitis in his hoofs, and on January 29th, 2007, Barbaro had to be put down by the doctors.
After discussing all the complications that existed this morning with the Jacksons, I really didn't think it was appropriate to continue with his treatment because the probable outcome was just so poor, and he would have to go through basically an unmanageable amount of discomfort.
Barbaro was put to rest that day. He was unable to breed due to injury, so he had no offspring. It's been 20 years since Barbaro has passed, but the impact that Barbaro has had can be felt still to this day. As if you walk into the Kentucky Derby Museum, the first thing you see is a statue of Barbaro where he was laid to rest.
or get questions about a horse that won the race 20 years ago. I think when you look at his success as a racehorse and the story that came about after he was injured and all that national attention and national adoration that got, I think that's a unique story that we have in Kentucky Derby history, and I think those are the reasons so many people are still asking about Barbaro and wanting to learn about Barbaro even 20 years after his Derby.
Barbaro, the undefeated Kentucky Derby winning racehorse. All right, we're back at the Fedestrator. So, we have 15 races over 2 days at Churchill Downs. The biggest race on Friday is the ladies, the fillies. 8:40 p.m., Kentucky Oaks. That's what kicks off the weekend as a big race. So, all of a sudden, BAM! Here's your runners for the Kentucky Oaks, and let's go ahead through them. We have in post 1, Explora going off at 6-1. Then you have your race favorite, Zany, going off at 4-1. Search Party, 30-1. Counting Stars, 8-1. Meaning, horse the 5th post, 5-1. 6th post, we have My Miss Mo going off at 20-1. 7 is Dazzling Dane. 8 is Scratch. Battle Rouge has been scratched and replaced by Lovely Gray. We have number 9, Always a Runner, going off at 10-1. The 10-gate bronze to Prom Queen at 8-1. Looking at the other side of this, we have the 11-gate Percy Barr going off at 6-1, one of the favorites. We have Bella Ballerina, 12-1. Pashmina coming off of the 13th post at 30-1. Brooklyn Blonde, 30-1. The 16th post, not listed on here because they were added to the race, is Nikon. And the 17th post is Resist. Nikon is 73-1 and Resist is 63-1. So there you go. You have your horses, and I am telling you, there are 7 horses that have a legitimate chance out of here to win this race. We have some really good horses. A lot of them have ran against each other. So if you watch videos, it's crazy because some of the horses that are down below have beat the other horses that are favored in other races. So I have to say, you got to watch out for Zany, starting off at a 4-1. He is good, but if you're looking for really good solid bets, Always a Runner could be finishing up in the Win Placer show, and he is 10-1. If you're a Dave Portnoy fan, Lovely Gray out of Go-Go Gray Stables, the Barstool owner. So another fabulous race that we have here. So this is fantabulous. Let's just go ahead and keep it rolling, because now we're at Saturday, 6:47 p.m. Call to post. The Kentucky Derby! Yeah, baby! This is going to be a race. We're going to go through the post, and before you know it, let's give a little kick. Woo! Bow! Here's our Kentucky Derby horses, baby! We have Renegade going off at 4-1. Albus 30-1. Intrepido 50-1. Litmus Test at 30-1. Right the Party, what an awesome name, 30-1. Commandment, one of the favorites at 6-1. Dan and Bourbon, we have So Happy going off at 15-1. The Puma at 10-1. Wonder Deed, 30-1. We have an 11th post Incredible at 20-1. Chief Wallaby going off at 8-1. Silent Tactic 20-1. Potente 20-1. Emerging Markets 15-1. Pavlonian 30-1. Six Speed 50-1. Another favorite in the 18th post is Further Ado. Golden Temple 30-1 and Full Effort 20-1. Now, I believe we only have about 4 horses that can pull it off, which that means there is a chance for an upset for somebody of a long shot to come in here. Renegade, who is the favorite, draws the 1 post. Remember, that has not won since the mid-1980s. The post that has the most wins, Right the Party, and the 5th gate going off at 30-1. So if you think about it, really what happens is you don't want to be all the way out on the 20th post. You sort of want to be anywhere from 12 to 17, even though 17 hasn't won. The biggest problem is too many horses on the track at a time. A lot of traffic. It's going to be like a California highway. So I'm telling you right now, you want to be sitting about 4th or 5th. You do not want to be up front in a grueling race like the Kentucky Derby. You want to sit there 4th or 5th, just like Barbaro did 20 years ago. And then, once you hit that quarter pole, it's time to go. Well, we had some technical difficulties. We're back. Good thing is, the only thing I have to do is just wrap it up. They're giving me the Oscar music. So without further ado, who am I going to take in the Kentucky Derby? Well, I will tell you, it is going to be on Bet the Bus Saturday. I am your host, Jeff J. Fed Fetters, and I will see you for Bet the Bus Kentucky Oak Style tomorrow.